Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. I have a Chinese pen for me to review today, and this is it. I finally got it, folks. It's the LEMON M2S. It's been on my mind for some time. The price was just not ideal, and once the price dropped, I figured I pulled the trigger. I did. So stay tuned. It looks like it's could have some potential. We shall see. Okay, folks. So here's the pen. Nothing special came with the pen. It was bubble wrapped as usual from Etsy. I will put up on the screen the most recent price for this pen. I think there's a couple of variations that it comes in. I chose this green and kind of goldish trimmings. So yeah, I think the first thing that I appreciate for this pen is a little bit all of this detailed embossing here or scrolling that you can see on the pen. It looks like a kind of a snakes and ladders sort of a design. I'm sure there's some Chinese significance to it. It may, oh, I see. In fact, it's a dragon. It's a dragon that's spitting some fire over some mystical sea element there. And yeah, you can see that there. Beautiful finial. Again, on the finial, I see. And the finial, there's the dragon theme. So I guess this is probably, because I think different models or colors of the pen have different motifs. This is the dragon motif. We've seen this Parker arrow type inspired clip. The clip is stiff, semi-functional, I would say. Nice resin, both on the cap and on the bottom finial. Little bit of chatoyancy there. It's kind of a cracked ice motif. Pen is well finished. Nice gold trimmings. No complaints there at all. That's essentially the outside. It has a little bit of weight. So there is some metal there. So it does provide just the right amount of weight, I would say. Let's see how many turns this opens up. That's one. So that's about two, I would say. Two turns to reveal this nice lemon nib, lemon fine. Now, from what I can see, this is not a lemon nib that is with an architect grind, if you will, or a long blade or long knife. I think it's just a straight up nib. We shall see how it writes. I have not inked this pen before deciding to review it. Plastic, ordinary plastic feed. The section here does have that gold trimming, which you need to be careful when you ink it because you got to dry it off properly, but that's okay. Again, nice section, not too big, not too small. The well turned. There's no rough edges there, and step down is really gradual. So you can hold this pen a little higher up or a little lower down depending on how what you prefer. There is a little bit of a flare, which is nice. It keeps those fingers from descending too much. There is the finial. There's the barrel. Now, this pen does not open, does not twist open. It is a piston filler. And as you can see, the piston is revealed. Nice mechanism, turns properly. Unfortunately, no ink window. It doesn't bother me, I got to tell you. I'm not going to let that deter from the rest of the pen and especially the price point of this pen. Now, what I did notice is there is no squared edge. The piston knob is totally round, but there is underneath, and I don't know if I can show this with the camera, there are two notches there I think you can see one right there. And the way that works is I see that this Dieman wrench fits nicely. So you've got to go get the notches. Here we go. See, the notch is in, and then you can twist it open. I'm not going to open it up because I don't want to break it. I'd like to use it before need to. But yeah, that Dieman wrench would work nicely with this lemon pen, which gets one to wonder whether or not Dieman is behind this. But having said all that, I'm not going to get into that. It's just speculation on my part. So there it is. It is a very comfortable pen. Good size, not too small, not too big. I wouldn't say it's a large pen, and I wouldn't say it's a small. So I would say medium-sized is probably an accurate description. Does it post? Yes, it does. You can push it down. I think it's just, laying at the tip there. Does it make the pen back-weighted? Not really, because that cap is fairly light. But what I don't like about the posting is that it's right on that piston knob, and it will turn the piston knob, so can't create a mess. So I believe that this pen ultimately cannot be categorized as a pen that posts. You can tolerate it, but it's not ideal. In that section, let's just take out my flashlight to see if we can see anything of interest. Yeah. There appears to be some kind of a section there, but it's not well defined to the point where I think it may not create that much of a seal. But there is a section there that's of interest. So that might or might not. I think the verdict is still out, but at least there is a kind of a step there that would facilitate keeping the pen wet. So there you are. So that essentially, I think, sums up the pen and its features. It is a dual-fold design, no doubt. And in that regard, let's compare it to some other pens. I've chosen a series of other Chinese pens that have all the dual-fold theme, if you will. And we can compare size and look and design. So there you have it. Let me just get my pointer out. Okay, so that's the subject pen. Here you have the Moonman M700. See, similar but smaller. This is the Jinhao 100 Centennial, one of many. This is the ADMOC. I call it the ADMOC Duofold. It doesn't really have a particular name as far as I know. This is the Moonman 700 or 600S. And this is the Rosetta Magellan. Now the Rosetta Magellan is a metal pen and probably is the, in terms of length, it's the longest one of the gang. And the subject lemon pen is the shortest one of the lot. So that's the comparison with the pens capped. Here are the pens uncapped and unposted, and you can see that the subject pen is one of the shortest ones in the lot here, probably equivalent to the Moonman 600S, but it is also equivalent to the Rosetta Magellan. I think it's just the Moonman 700 and maybe the Jinhao that just slightly overshadows it, but not by much. And they're all, of course, number 6 size steel nibs. The subject pen has a dual colored gold and chrome coloring. So there you have the pens, uncapped, unposted. Here are the pens posted. Well, the 600S doesn't post at all. The Rosetta just barely sits there, but very loose, so it not secure. And all of the pens you can see are posted. They're posted just at the tip, which, frankly, makes them all pretty well unpostable, if there is such a word, pens. So the fact that the subject pen doesn't post perfectly because of that piston mechanism, I don't think is a major drawback when compared to these other dual-fold inspired pens. So there you have it. What I proposed is that we proceed to look at the measurement table, and then we'll do the writing sample. Stay tuned. So we're back with the writing sample. First of all, the ink. Chosen this deep sea green from Faber-Castell. And if I can show you the swatch, let me just look at the swatch of all my green inks. And I believe I should have this ink swatched, or maybe I don't. That can't be. It's got to be swatched. There we go. Here's the Faber-Castell Deep Sea Green. Here you have it. There's a little bit of that gold shading, if you will. We'll see if it comes out. There is that fine nib, so the chances that you could see that slight gold shading, a little bit of a sheen there, is minimal, but we'll see what gives. As far as the paper is concerned, it's Tomoe River notepad from Galen Leather, and we're all set for the writing sample. So this is the LEMON M2S in the green and gold finish. The nib is a lemon number 6 steel fine nib. The ink is Faber-Castell Is it one L or two L's? Two L's. Oh, sorry about that. Deep sea green. And in terms of, it is a very stiff, you can get a little bit of line variation there, but not much. Fairly wet for a fine nib, but it is a fine nib. And a little bit of resistance. I would say it's not scratchy, but it's not smooth. It's a nail, in other words. Yeah. But it's quite consistent. As you can see. Okay. So I would say it's smooth, but not very smooth. Very stiff nib. Very wet, however, for a fine anyway. And very constant. Okay, there we go. And in terms of likes, dislikes. Well, I like the design. If there's a duofold base there, I understand. But on the other hand, the way they've, embossed this very elaborate dragon-like figure on this barrel, I think is very, very nice. And you have the combination of the metal, the embossing, the two ends here the section and the finial in resin. Very nice gold trimmings with a very nice finial. I think all in all, this is a very nice designed pen. Also like its build quality. You can feel that this pen is very solid in your hand. Comfortable. This likes no ink window, for those of you who care. I would say that the nib, again, this is my bias, but the nib is 8 on 10. I cannot fault it. It's just a very stiff, fine nib. Similar to I would say similar to a Bach nib, but, and I'm even wondering whether or not it is a Bach nib, but that's just a speculation on my part. So no ink window, and the fact that it does not post. I would add properly. In other words, it can be, but it will get that mechanism going, and it's just sitting at the top. So I cannot consider this pen as being a pen that can be properly posted. Value, I think the value is there. Again, when I compared this to the Delta Intesa that I've criticized in my recap of this week or last week, you know, that cost me 120 euros to my home. This thing is a joy to write with, and I feel like I've got some substance in my hand, as opposed to that Delta Intesa 2.0 that's supposed to come from a beautiful pen maker, my favorite pen maker, Delta. Shame on you, Delta, for that pen. Okay, value 10 on 10. Is it a go-to pen? It will be a go-to pen for my note-taking on PDFs, for example, or, you know, for my agenda, which is Hobonichi grid agenda, where you need to, you know, write a little bit smaller. I think this is ideal. Okay. And, you know, the more you write with this pen, the better it flows and the better it feels. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this additional review. I think another excellent Chinese pen at an excellent, excellent value. I don't care what anybody says. Hard to beat, folks. Hard to beat. So there you have it. So thank you very much for joining me once again. Please subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take a look at my weekly recap that I just printed, or published, I should say, this week. I've got lots of Chinese pens. I've got 2 Italian pens that I've got to publish. They've been reviewed, but eventually we'll put them on the YouTube air, as they say. And I hope you enjoy your pens. I hope you enjoy your weekend. It's spring. Summer is in the air, as they say. So it's all good, folks. It's fountain pen therapy. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.